Hello everyone. We will wait for 2 or 3 minutes, and after that, again we will start our lecture as soon as it starts. Okay. Okay. So we will start our lecture. It's almost 3:33 now, and we'll move ahead on our lecture. Let's see how many have joined. Okay, we'll start our lecture. And yesterday we stopped about the point where we were checking our dimensions of data, and how we check the dimension of data by using the path and the data shape, data shape, data shape one. So we were discussing about that. So getting each attribute data type we will be starting today. Okay. So I will be more simpler, or I will be trying to say you more simpler words that will be more domestic. Okay. It it is another good practice to know the data type of each attribute. The reason behind is that as per as per to the requirement, sometimes we may need to convert the one data type to another. For example, we may need to convert a string into float point, or int for responding a categorical or ordinal values. We can have an ideas about the attributes of data type by looking at the raw data. But another way is to use d types property of panda data frame. With the help of d types property, we can recognize each attribute data type. It can be understood with the help of following script. Means where we will be using this data type, or we are using the file of this data. Sometimes maybe the data is in a one form and we may require the data to be changed from one form to another form. It is will be easier for the code itself to understand it more better. Just like if I'm telling you that for the int purpose, every time whenever you have a calculation part, you may the answer will be is always have around something which is in float or any other direction or any other way. But that's how it's supposed to be kept, that how is going to be performed in a particular manner. I mean to say in an easier word is that whatever the data is, we need to know to understand that should we change into one form or into other form. It may require that even we require the numbers to be changed into string form just for the sake of the code, or even for the coding, even for the data more ethical purpose. Okay. So this coding category or the coding is totally dependent how the data comes. So you need to know how to change the data, otherwise the coding of whole data will be more recursive, or you can say will be more rendering around that. Okay. So we have some example how to use this data type. From pandas import read CSV file path of iris. What we did, we used from pandas, we read the CSV file. It is read underscore. Can you see read? There is an one underscore and CSV file. There is a red line according to in that. That's the reason we can't see it properly now. But can you see it now? The black part. Yes, it's nothing but it's a part where we are using this for showing purpose. Path data types. Okay, the output is sepal length float 64, sepal width float 64, petal data dot d types, petal dot 64, petal width 64, and d type object. What is a d type object? Okay, from the above output we can easily get the data types of each attribute. I'm not talking about the only one type of attribute, but as we move further we will get each type of different attributes, each of a different attribute to be shown. Okay. Statistical summary of data. As we earlier in our last lecture, if you heard about simply one thing, that we are going to talk about visualization and the statistical. These are the two form of data representation where one can go with either one, or simply it's dependent on a person that which type of data specification or data handling is used to be chosen. So we have discussed Python recipe to get the shape, that is the number of rows and columns of data, but the many times we need to review the summaries out of the shape of data. Okay, it can be done with the help of describe functions of panda data frame that further provide the following statistical properties of each and data attribute. Okay, count, mean, standard deviation, mean values, maximum value 25%, medium that is 50% and 75%. We were talking about the statistical data, what is the summaries of statistical data, as the same versions you have been found out in your mathematical versions too. But how you will understand that this will be more easier, and why are the reason that such type of mathematical or statistical formulas are being then to understand the data more furtherly. Example, if you have some type of data which is has required a peak value to be known at that time. What value to be known? Peak value to be known at that time, which will create the range from one side to another. So that time you won't be checking every data which one has the highest one, because at the pixel level, other some of the data are so complicated that it's not easy to understand by looking at just them and having a maximum value putting out it. And maybe data is so large in so number that the checking out with a one and one data, it will take more time. So that's the reason we have some standard values, or you can say we have some standard formulas for that, for the maximum, minimum, mean, count, standard deviation 25%, 50%, 75%. These are the some of the counts or definitions where the peak value or the data value is at bin top, and you can get some of the values with that. It will be easier to describe a range, to give a formal pattern, or even to show how the data is been recursive and data is been going through. This data is not only helpful for make the data more clear or more clear version, or you can say it's also helpful in a more understanding how to create a perfect box or object around the data. At what extent my data could go, and what is the least extent my data could ever have. So this is the same some of the by meaning itself some of people would have already understood that how is going to be happen, but I still kept going on with the different factors. Okay, now there is a one more example. This will be some a bit larger one, but please try to understand. I will be going with every particular code detail, even with the colons as well. So try to understand, and hope if possible then you could even try with your laptop or any phone or any means that where you are using Python. From pandas import read underscore csv. From pandas import set underscore options. Okay, now set options, just wait a minute, I will tell you the what the set options are. What is the set options are? You will just read the code first and we will go into that. Path, what we did first, we specified the path. Names, all the names of the header files. Data, read csv file. Path names, so the path comes over here where the file is being loaded, and the names are the nothing but header file. Set option, display width, what is the width of that. Set option, display with 100. Set option precision 2. Print data shape and data describe. Okay, so what was the first print that we were talking about? First print was a data shape. Okay, so data shape, and what we did, we set the options from of width and precision of 2. Okay, so the mean, what did happen over here? Display the width and precision and data describe. So now the count, mean, standard, minimum, everything is been here. Not only not only the data we were describing, not only the one count and mean. Now with the help of just a print option of describe, what we have, the every type of value that we could gather at the same time, count, mean, standard, minimum, maximum, and all. We have not written over there, but it was me who's clearly been bounding. And can you see the all the signs over here? Can you see how many? Can you see what is the meaning of count? How many count? 68.8, 68.8. Okay. So the mean, what is a mean and what is the precision of that? Standard values and what is the lowest standard value that? Minimum value 21%, and there is no any type of precision or any type of tolerance. And maximum is 50 at 24 is a 50%. So we are not for 2075 is 75% is 29%, and no anything value. Max value is 49. It could may vary with 1 as a precision. Max it will be 81. It will be 1. From the above output, we can observe the statistical summary of the data of PIMA Indian diabetes dataset along with the shape of data. Okay, so these two versions are been specially displayed. So the precision, as I told you about set option, is used for making a whole data into a particular object. How many values we need to take? 2, and precision should be around 2. Okay, reviewing a class distribution. Class distribution statistic is useful in classification problems where we need to know the balance of class values. It is important to know class values distribution because if we have highly imbalanced class distribution, that is one class is having lots more observation than other class, then it may need special handling at data preparation stage of our ML project. We can easily get class distribution in Python with the help of pandas data frame. Example, from pandas import read CV. From pandas important CV. As I told you, the class distribution is statistical use for classification problems. Means class distribution, it is same like a classification that we are doing in our ML purpose. Like we are trying to set the data into the different classes so that it is easier to understand the more what we are doing around this whole data set, or why we are discussing every tiny bit detail of data. They look familiar, just like the upper one, that why we require this data attributes, why we require this counts, why we need a data separation values, why we require this classification. Though we have a code classification separately for the machine learning purpose, why do we still have something which is totally having a class distribution? Why? There is a reason. There is a reason for every particular formula or every particular version, because as we go move further and further and further, the data to be handled more carefully and more accurately. Even the one slight change in a data or undistributed data could make take a delay purpose or even make you get a wrong one, because we are actually trying to work every of our code or machine learning into what precision or what efficiency, around 100% efficiency. Even though we are the humans I'm talking about, we are the highest brain user in the around the world. Not any other animal or any other bird anyone can use like a brain, like not even a computer, not even a supercomputer has a power to use a brain or you guys a faster speed like us. But why do we still keep on making mistakes? The experience, the bad experience, the bad data that we are here distributing. Just like example, if any student or any student is having a peer pressure or bad memories or bullies or nightmare, okay, these are the some of the exception I'm talking about. But what if we are talking about a simply just a misunderstanding, simply a misunderstanding, someone is trying to helping, but the way he referred to the world is a different. That's the reason he misunderstood someone. That misunderstanding is been taken as a wrong form of experience, or you can say as a wrong form of data. And that data, as a wrong form of data, then that data becomes very crucial or very important to take any further decision according to that student. Okay, why I'm talking about the student? Because they are the one those who cannot handle or have a more misunderstanding compared to the adult one. Adult, or I'm saying the person who has been all the manlyhood. So the students have some of the reasons to take a wrong decision, even though they are the one of the finest user of brain at the peak level. Okay, so even so, what we need to do, we need to neglect such type of data distribution or such type of wrong data creating part. So that's the reason we have been using, that's the reason we are trying to take the data into as much classified, as much clarified, or as much specialized form of data, so that when the decision comes made according to the computer, then it will be have a very great accuracy, and instead of making of any particular unwanted decision, it will come up with 100% efficiency of 100% efficiency of at work. Okay, from pandas import the file. I imported again the Pima Indians diabetes file.csv, preg, plus, press, skin, test, mass, peri, age and class. Data read CSV all the names. Count class, the data dot group by, not groupy group b, group by class dot size. Size is nothing but of inbuilt function for taking the value what is the size of the data. So the what is going to happen, print the class. So class 0, 500, 1 to 68, d type int 64. Let's see the check the art data of Pima. Do you remember? Preg plus, press, skin, test, mass, pedi, age, class. Can you see this? The whole data how is been rating. Why I'm taking a medical data? Why not any type of different data? That's important to understand. The medical data has a more accuracy, or you can say more accurate to be because this is something which is related to some person. Okay, so you cannot have any type of distribution or mistakes within that. If we may have any type of mistake, then it may cost a bit value. Okay, so that's the reason I took more, and one of the reason that I can get a more type of versions or more detailed version of every precision. So that's what may fascinates me, and I always try to take a medical version data set of CSV file. It will be easier. So 0 500, what is the class? It is in 0 as 500 and 1 as 1, so 268. And D type, as you know, that we have used the data group, count class, so that we are trying int 64. From the above output we can clearly see that the number of observation with a class 0 are almost double than the number of observation with the class 1. Okay, class distribution statistical data is a classification problems where we need to know the balance of classes values. It is important to know class values distribution, because if we have a highly imbalanced distribution, that is one class is giving lots more observation than the class that we it may that they it may need a special handling of data preparation stage of our ML projection. Okay, we can get we can easily get the class distribution in Python with the help of data frames. I'm reading it again because it's a bit more important, or you can say a bit more complicated to understand. Now, reviewing a correlation between attributes. Okay, the relationship between two variable is called correlation. In statistics, the most common method for calculating correlation is a Pearson's correlation coefficient. It can have three values as follows. Coefficient value 1, it represents a full positive correlation between variables. Coefficient value -1, it represents full negative correlation between variables. Coefficient value 0, it represents no correlations at all between the variables. Now can you imagine this output with just watching this two, 500 and 1? What are the specific reason that we are getting this? Okay, understood everyone? So let's move further. Zero word, you know the meaning of 0, and that's the reason I didn't explain it further. I just tell you they are the class, but understanding them it will be more easier. It is always good for us to review the pairwise correlation of the attribute in our dataset before using it into the ML projects, because some machines learning algorithms such as linear regression and logistic regression will perform poorly if we have highly correlated attributes. In Python, we can easily calculate a correlation matrix of dataset attribute with the help of core, which is an inbuilt function, a function of pandas data frame. Okay, so he did that. He's telling that correlation between between using ML, because the machine learning algorithms such as poorly we have correlated. So that's the reason he's trying to, or we are trying to use this core or correlation part for our more benefit. From pandas import read CV. From pandas import set option, we will set an option path given, names of header file given, data, read underscore csv file dot. These 5 lines only indicate to just read the file, and the second part has been happening over here. Set option display with 1000, set option precision 2. Okay, this one is for calling. This one is for it's just like calling for stamina, and the correlation will be the one who is striking our enemy. Okay, correlations equals to data.core method equals to Pearson print correlation, and can you see the matrix is about gives us the correlation between all the pairs of the to the attribute in the desert data set. Reviewing a skew of attribute decision. Okay, reviewing a skew of attribute decision. Skewness may be defined as the distribution. Just give it a moment. Okay, reviewing a skew of attribute distribution. Skewness may be defined as the distribution that is assumed to be Gaussian but appears distorted or shifted in one direction or another, or either to the left or right. Reviewing the skewness of the attribute is one of the important tasks due to following reasons. Presence of the skewness in data requires the correction of data preparation stage so that we can get more accuracy from our model. Skewness may be defined as the distribution that is assumed to be Gaussian but appears distorted, or distorted or shifted in one direction or another, to either to the left or right. Reviewing the skewness of the attribute is one of the important tasks due to the following reason. Presence of the skewness in data requires the correction of data preparation stage so that we can get more accuracy from our model. The most of the ML algorithm assumes that the data has a Gaussian distribution that is either normal or bell curve data. In Python, we can easily calculate the skew of each attribute by using a skew function on a data frames. In Python, we can calculate skew. So I won't be telling this skew right now. At it will take a bit understanding. Just take a output. Just look at the output, and after that we will explain. From pandas imported CV path all the path. Now the header files read the path and the names data.skew, the only one function. What does that do? It reduces all that requires the skew paths within that. What does it do? It phones out the all required skewness. What is skewness? Distribution as the data is assumed in the Gaussian but appears distorted, shifted in one direction. Means the data where we were talking about not linear, not in a no, data could be anything, as we have already defined. Data could be anything, any type of thing. But as the data has been sorted or just shifted in one direction, what is going to happen? How much it's been shifted? So that's how we are going to, with the help of this queue, we are going to make it okay now. All the skew, all the unwanted data, we are all wanted skewness that we have within the data or within the file of data, then it will be reduced. From the above data, positive negative skew can be observed. It is a value is a closer to the zero, then it is show less skew. So it is very good even if the data is being closer to the skew or it is closer to zero, then there is no skewness. Skewness is just like error within a data. Skewness is just like error within a data. So the error can't be within that because it's not the line of code, right? So the data shifts here and there sometimes. That's the reason we have some skewness, and that skewness should be removed, or even if it is, they have there is no, we have found there is not even possible in having a big data to remove skewness completely, but with a particular range which is known as, as close as to zero, it will be better. Okay, so I think so we have mostly as close as equal to better, or even one is fine for the study purpose. That's just like a tolerance, so we can go there. So the introduction, in the previous chapter we have discussed the importance of data machine learning algorithm along with some Python recipes to understand the data with statistic. They are called known as a visualization to understand the data. With the help of data visualization, we can see how the data looks like and what kind of correlation is needed. What type of correlation is needed? Correlation is held by the attribute of data. It is the fastest way to see if the features corresponding to the output. Okay, with the help of data flowing Python recipes, we can understand ML data statistic, ML data with statistic visualization. Data visualization techniques: univariate plots, multivariate plots. Univariate plots, multivariate plots. Univariate means where the one variation type of something is been plotted. When the multivariate means different types, or you can say the different types of variates are been plotted within the graph. So it could be three dimensional could be multi-dimensional plot, which can be done in a prediction. Okay. Univariate plots, understanding attribute independently. The simplest type of visualization is a single variable or a univariable visualization. With the help of a univariate visualization, we can understand each other of our data set independently. Uh, the following are some techniques in some of the implement universe, some of the implement univariate visualization. Okay. Urinate urinate plots and description. Histograms, the density plot, box and whiskey plot. I won't be going in much deeper, okay, but still I will explain you this part by reading them in a previous way. Histogram group the data is the bins and is the fastest way to get the idea about the distribution of each attribute in dataset. Then density plots. Another quick and easy technique for getting each attribute distribution is a density plot. Box and whisker plots. Box and the whisker plots are called the box plots in short. Is another useful technique to review the distribution of each attribute distribution. Multivariate plots interaction among multiple people. Hmm. So we came across now multivariate interaction among the multiple variables. Another types of visualization is a multivariate visualization. With the help of the multivariate visualization, we can understand the interaction between the multiple attributes of our data set. The following are some techniques in Python to implement a multivariate visualization. Correlation matrix plot. Correlation is an indication about the changes between the two variables. Scatter matrix plot. Scatter plot shows how much variable is affected by one another or a relationship between them with the help of the dots in two dimensions. So can you see these two? Both are mostly different, but the meaning has been same towards them. Okay. So it's across last 10 minutes. Yesterday I was also wasted your most time, and I am giving you 5 minutes. Please, anyone have any doubts, you can ask me now. The chat is also on. Okay. So please everyone try to have any type of doubt, then you can ask me now. Okay, no doubts anyone. Then I think so I will. Okay, I will end the stream. Thank you everyone to watch. Please be safe, and everyone those who are watching, please go and try at least our in learning internship website. Just go there, contact. You can comment over here. We will just answer you the number, and even the as well as the part of it. So please everyone just go and try this is really will be most interesting internship of my time, because I'm the one, other the many people who are conducting it. Please at least just look at the whole syllabus. The syllabus is nothing but at the Google level. Google and Windows level are the syllabus over there. It is a mixture of everyone that we could make you at the greatest and the detailest part of any part. Okay, that's the reason it is internationally valid, because the topics are internationally being used across the other countries. That's the reason. Thank you so much.